Now, there are a lot of people, in fact, most everybody you know, spends most of their time outside the vortex. They don't know about vibration. They don't know what their emotions mean. They want to be positive, and they try. They make some effort to be, but they're not really managing their vibrational flow very well. So most people are outside the vortex most of the time. And then they gather together in groups, on the internet, or just in neighborhoods. Law of attraction sort of brings them in their similarities together. And they come up with conclusions about how they and everybody else should live life. Laws are made from that group. In other words, they are the ones that decide. They sort out the good piles from the bad piles, and they decide what's the right way of life and what's the wrong way of life. But we will acknowledge that among those outside the vortex efforters, that it is evident when someone is trying and when someone isn't. They have diplomas. They have better paying jobs in many cases. They live in nicer houses in many cases. Those who effort, you can tell which ones are trying and which ones aren't in that out of the vortex group. But friends, it's the out of the vortex group. It's like being king of the molehill. It's the out of the vortex group. In other words, the masters come from in the vortex. Your clarity, your inspiration, your creations, your inventions, your wonderful new ideas, your zest for life, in other words, comes from the inside the vortex group, you see. So we're not wanting to make you feel bad when you're out of the vortex, because certainly it adds to the step one experience. We just want you to get this into perspective and realize that next time you find yourself really digging in and trying hard, that you're working against yourself, and you might want to just chill for a while and remember who you are. Maybe listen to some meditation. Maybe count your breathing. Maybe get in sync with some music. Maybe bask a little. Maybe do something that is pleasing. Maybe do anything or everything that you can think of to release the tension that is holding you outside the vortex. And it is our promise to you that once you are aware of the existence of this vortex, and once you are aware of your guidance system, which lets you know where you are in proximity to it, and once your mantra, once your motto, once what really matters to you is, today, no matter where I'm going, no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm doing it with, it is my dominant intent to look for what I'm wanting to see. I'm agreeably oriented. I am appreciatively oriented. I comment on things that I appreciate. And when I feel an impulse to criticize, I sit on it. I don't go with it. I don't make more of it. I don't amplify it with words. I don't amplify it with groups. I don't comment on it. I no longer am trying, efforting myself into a better place. I'm practicing the art of allowing, because I've now discovered that my inner being is in my vortex and calling me home, calling me toward all that I've become. And if I am even hanging around in the vicinity of hopefulness, my vortex calls me in on a really regular basis. And once you start living more of your life from inside the vortex, you'll have more insight. You'll have better timing. You'll feel better. Your sense of humor will be keener. Your sense of intelligence will be keener. You'll think of things, those to-do lists. You won't have to drag them around. You'll be at the grocery store and you'll remember what you want. You'll be moving through life, and the right thing at the right time will occur to you. You'll be tuned in, tapped in, not to a memory bank, not to a to-do list in your head, but you'll be tapped into the vibrational equivalent of all that you have become, who knows who you really are in relationship to who and where you are at all times, in all moments of all days. Talk about a concierge. Talk about an impulse giver. It's like walking through life with somebody who not only knows who you are, but loves who you are, who is constantly hinting and opening doors and orchestrating circumstances and events in order to allow you to be all that you can be. Hesitating just at the right moment so that you're not in the elevator with that person, but you are in the elevator with that person. Finding yourself hesitating in traffic just right so that it opens for you so that you can make your lane shift. In other words, there are so many things that many of you might call inconsequential or insignificant that just make the flow of life so remarkable. When you live life from inside the vortex, you're living life as you intended. Because you are a powerful creator who said, I'll go forth, I'll choose from the buffet, I'll identify what I want, and I'll line up with it. And I'll do it again and again and again and again, because lining up with who I am is the zest of life that I've always been looking for. You think it's the manifestations, and we want you to have manifestations. We're not trying to talk you out of the glitter or glitz or beauty or anything that you want. We want you to have the manifestations. But we are here to tell you, you didn't sign on for the manifestations. You signed on for the movement toward what you want. You signed on for this 3-step process. You signed on for the choosing from the buffet, for the launching of the rockets, and for the exhilaration of lining up with who you really are. Coming home, coming home, coming home. So, we're eager to talk with you about anything you want to talk about. We don't want to have talked you out of any subject, because all subjects are appropriate. We want you to know that our role, if it is to be an advantage to you, is to stand here inside your vortex, firmly, clearly, knowing who you really are. And as we visit with you collectively, as we've been doing already here, or individually, as we choose you to come to the hot seat, it is our desire to offer insight and vibrational pathways to help it make it easier for you to come into vibrational alignment with who you are. We want you to put the word ease, easy, in one of your good piles. Because there are a lot of people who believe that ease means lazy. And we want you to know that ease means leverage. Ease means leverage. Ease means alignment. Ease means lining up with the power and the energy and the resources of who you are. So, what do you want to talk about?
I want to be a more effective creator of my reality. And I feel that in order to do so, I should conduct an intensive search and destroy mission of all the hidden resistance within me. How can I do this?
The problem with the search and destroy mission is that as you search and find with that sort of avid determination, what you don't want gets moving so fast that it really slows you down. In fact, it's what we were demonstrating with those cards earlier. We liked your opening words. You said, I want to be an effective creator. Is that what you said?
Yes.
And we think that if you would just use these words instead, it would set you on the right path immediately. I want to be an effective allower of what I have already created. Because the creation part is done. You've been sifting. You've filled your vortex full. There's enough in your vortex to keep you busy for 20 or 30 lifetimes. In other words, you have created it. It has been created. So what you want to do is figure out how to allow yourself alignment with what's created, and then from inside the vortex, the path to the manifestation of it will occur to you. You see, the difference between your vocabulary and ours is that you mean created manifested, and we mean created vortexed, and then we mean allowed manifested. Follow? It's in there. We were visiting with a beautiful woman recently who has been wanting to get pregnant. Not getting pregnant, not getting pregnant, not getting pregnant, wanting to be pregnant, wanting to be pregnant. Several conversations with her over a period of years about it. And then last time we saw her in Los Angeles, she announced to us and to several people in the audience who knew her, they'd been following the saga of her pregnancy for a while. I'm 4 months pregnant, she announced. And of course, she and everyone else was delighted. And as the day went on, we took opportunity to point out several things around the pregnancy. We pointed out to her that even though she is now elated because she's no longer wrapped up in the absence of baby, she still doesn't have a baby in her arms yet. She's still not walking the baby, taking the baby trick-or-treating. That's something she's really looking forward to. She's still not feeding the baby. She's still not taking, well, just that one picture of the baby. But she doesn't actually have the baby experience yet in the way she wants it. And so we said to everyone, your vortex is pregnant with all of your desires. And we would like all of you to feel, if you could see the shift in this woman from not being pregnant to being pregnant, even though she doesn't have the baby yet, we would like all of you to take that shift. In other words, it's created. Your vortex is full of what you've created. Now you just get to play the fun game of figuring how, as in your words, which is what you're wisely looking for, how to release the resistance to allow it to come. Now we want to talk about this because over time, if you've been listening to us for a while, we have offered so many different processes and guided you in so many different mindsets to help you get a sense of this focusing of this energy. We talked about pivoting in the beginning. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want. So think about what you do want. But it's easier said than done, isn't it? Because where you are is where you are. And law of attraction keeps dishing up more thoughts like where you are. So it's all well and good for Abraham or someone to say to you, focus upon what you want. But if what's active in your vibration is the absence of it, then it's not all that easy to focus upon what you want. So then we began talking about just reach for the better feeling thought. Don't try to go all the way home. Don't try to get all the way into the pure positive energy. Just find something that's a little less negative. Find something, just lean a little in the direction. Try to find a thought. Try to find a better feeling thought. We offered processes like focus wheels and all kinds of things to get you thinking more in the direction of what you want. And many of you have made progress along the way. But today, we want to talk about something that we believe is infinitely more productive. And your question really cues it up in a powerful way. Because we know that the most significant thing that you must let go of before you can be the allower of all of the things that you want, you have to let go of your opinion and observation of being without it. In other words, you have to stop feeling not enough relative to the things that you want. And you would stop feeling not enough to the things that are the opposite. I mean, you would naturally do it if you could just distract yourself from it. It's not that you have to ferret it out and wrestle it to the ground and kill it. You don't need a search and destroy mission. What you need is a deactivation mission. You need a untangling mission. You need a let loose of it. You need a lightening up mission. You need an ease and flow mission. And so it really, as we've watched you and so many of you, it's the reason that this getting into the vortex guided meditation process was created, because we see that what you are really reaching for is a vibrational shift that you have a hard time accomplishing in the midst of your very busy, very compelling, very real, very observable life. You have to find a way of detaching from it. So we talk about deactivating the thought. Well, that's a very good idea, just really tricky. Because when you say you're going to stop thinking about that thing, you're thinking about that thing that you're going to stop thinking about. Well, what we are recommending is that you find some time that you can quiet your mind, where you can focus upon something that doesn't require much thought. So Jerry and Esther have gathered together with the help of a wonderful musician who put some really good music together, really strange music that we specifically requested, music that's not like music you usually hear because it doesn't beat the way music is supposed to beat. It's unpredictable. And if you try to sync your breath to it with 1, 2, 3 breaths in, one long breath to 3 counts is a better way of saying it. And as you figure it out, what happens is you cannot be focused upon something like that and stay actively involved in those things that have been bothering you. So the more often you do that, the more you allow your vortex to train you upward.